Welcome. This is a step-by-step tutorial on how to use the WeMind platform in your clinical practice. We're going to start today with how you're going to log in on the platform, and later on we're going to explain how you connect with your client. So how do you use our program? So both the clinician and the client can go to the same website. It's the we-mind.app. So it's we-mind.app. Then you would see this screen. It's multi-language, so it's English, Dutch. You can change it as you want. There will be more languages added later as well. So as a therapist, you click on I'm a therapist and you log in with your own account. You need to make this account on our website, or we help you with creating the email address. You fill it in, and if it's okay, you're logged in. Now you're ready to start your EMDR session. So I'm pressing Start Session. There's two ways to connect the session. One is where you fill in the session ID that you get from your client. And the other one is where you connect by sharing a link, a URL link, to your client. And we're going to explain them both in this video today. And we're going to start with connect by sharing a link. So you want to establish a connection with your client to start your session. How you do that, the easiest way is press connect by sharing a link. The program will load and there will be a pop-up with a shareable link that you can send out via email or any other messaging platform to your client. So you press copy link, it is copied, and now I can send this to my client, and if my client clicks on the link, it will open the website and you're automatically together. So I will show it today. I will paste that link I just copied here. It loads the WeMind EMDR platform. The client accepts and reads the agreement and also reads the explanation. Once you're pressing proceed, the client is in the waiting room, in the therapy room, waiting for you to start the session. And it turned green, so that means we're connected now. I'm switching back to the therapist side, and you can see that this indicator has turned green. So green means I'm connected with my client. Also, you can connect on a different way. So if you want to connect with a new session or you want to log out, you press on this menu, you log out, confirm it, and you're back at the first screen. So I'm pressing I'm a therapist. I'm logging in with my credentials. I'm logging in. And now I'm going to do the second way of connecting. That's not by sharing a link, but that's filling in the session ID from the client. That's the old way of connecting, as we previously did. So now I need to fill in as a therapist the session ID for my client, and if I fill it in, I'm connected. So how does that work? So what you now do is you explain to your client that he or she can go to the same website, we-mind.app, press I'm a client, chooses the device, so I'm on the desktop now, but the client can also be on tablet and mobile. So you press on desktop, I accept the agreement, and now it will explain what I need to do. So I see a session ID here on the right side corner, it's 220-76964, and I can copy it by clicking on it. So this is the session ID from the client. So I will start my session as a client, and what I need to do now is send this session ID or tell my therapist this session ID. And if my therapist fills in the session ID, we're connected. So I'm entering the session ID here that I just copied. I connect it and we're in the same room as well. We know that we're connected when this indicator turns green. It is right now. If I close the client view, it will probably switch to red again, as you can see. So now you see it is red. We're not connected anymore because I closed my client window. We can re-invite the person by pressing the button, copy the link and send it to the client. If the client clicks on it, we're going to connect. Or if my client opens up a new window, loads the program, and wants to give you a new session ID, you say connect new session, confirm, and you can fill in that new session. And if you press now on connect, we're connected again. So that's how it works. That's how you connect a session, both with the link and with the session ID. Okay, today we're going to show you how to use our video call system and VOC and SUT registration. A big element of our tool is the video call option. We have a built-in HIPAA compliant and safe video call system, so you can use our program for telehealth sessions as well. So you can use our program together with Zoom or Teams or Google Meets, or you use our video call system that's built in. If you want to use our video call system, it's really easy. You connect with the client. We're connected. Now it turned red, but we're still connected, I would say. So turning from green to red means that the Wi-Fi went away for a second. So this is an indicator for you that there is a connection or that there's bad Wi-Fi. So now it's green, so I have a connection. The only thing I have to do is press dial, and I would have a video call with my client. So normally on the big screen I would see my client, and on the small screen I would see myself. I'm demoing this on one computer, one system, so it uses the webcam for both ends, of course. But normally you would see yourself here small, and you would see your client big on the screen. You can make this smaller and bigger by pressing those buttons, but your client will be prominent in your view. So that's how you use our video call system to establish a connection with your client. So you want to start your session, you're gonna do sets, and then you want to register the SUT and in the end also the VOC. So let's say you're starting with a SUT about a car crash. You're gonna save it, so you can rename it if you want. And you just register your SUT by sliding the slider, pressing OK. After another set, it's a 5. After another set, it's a 2. And maybe in the end of a session, it's a 0. Cool. You just registered the SUT for this specific target. You copy it, and you can paste it here in your own notes part. So we can copy it and paste it in our notes part, or in the end of a session, you paste it in your own like electronic patient file. We don't store the notes part here, so in the end of your session, copy it all and paste it somewhere safe, so you can have it in your meeting notes as well. So this is the SUT. Let's say you want to do another SUT. So you press a second target. That's like something else. It's another car crash, or doesn't matter. It works the same, but you can add new SUT registrations by pressing the plus icon here. Cool. We can also register the VOC, and I do that by toggling from SUT to VOC. So I'll put it on VOC. Let's say this is about the VOC about XYZ. VOC. I'm saving it. I register the VOC. Again, I'm registering it. Then at the end of my session, I can copy it and paste it again. And now my VOC, completely not renamed it well, but I'm doing it like this. And now you can see that it's copy and pasting whatever I'm writing about. So that's how it works. You can copy and paste it somewhere else. You can also copy your meeting notes, because you can type in all your meeting notes here during the session, paste your VOC and SUT in here, type it, and in the end of the session you copy it here, paste it in your own system, and that's how you store all of your data. So how this works. With the visual task, the audio task, and the distraction task on the left side, you can collapse and open the different settings by clicking on them. So starting with the background, you can change the background as you like to make it more child-friendly or to make it a bit more personal. And today we're going to explain the visual, audio, and distraction task. So the visual task is the first task where you can toggle the task on and off by switching on and off. So if you want to use the visual ball, you have to toggle it on. You can set it on manual or on adaptive. On manual, the ball speed will not be changed. You can set it at a certain speed. If you put it on the adaptive AI part, it will change based on the real-time performance of your client. and we're gonna explain that later. So let's start with manual ball speed, make it go horizontal, and the ball will go from left to right. So I'll switch to the client, and as you see, the ball goes from left to right. Now I hear the arrow buzzer. Because I'm not responding, I can toggle that buzzer on and off here. So I'll toggle the buzzer off. So now I only see a ball from left to right, and I'm following it with my eyes. Cool, I'm gonna pause it. I can change the ball speed with this slider, so let's show that as well. Now it goes faster and faster based on what I prefer or what the client prefers. And I can make it also go random, so the ball now goes in all different directions. Make that go faster as well, so the movement patterns I will change. I can also change the ball color, green, red, yellow, or any other color. So I will press this color changing icon or this one to make it go random. So now it changes every few seconds, and I can change that changing speed as well as a clinician. Cool, so let's pause it. Now let's put it on the adaptive AI part, and I think this is the interesting part. We have developed a system, a well-researched algorithm that's measuring the real-time performance of a client, and based on the performance it will make the level of taxation more personal and will intensify or decrease the ball speed based on real-time data. So I put it on adaptive. It normally starts at 25%. I will make it go random, and then I press start task. So now the ball will go into my screen, left, right, up, down, and every time the ball changes from a ball into a cylinder. Every time it changes from the ball in the cylinder, I press the arrow key down on my keyboard. I do that for a few seconds, and every time I do that, the ball will go faster and faster because I'm doing it really well. So the level of taxation changes and differs from person to person. So some people, maybe children or some gamers or other type of clients, can have a really high level of taxation, while others need a bit less taxation to have an optimal treatment outcome. So this algorithm searches that optimal sweet spot for you, so you as a clinician have time to make notes, to focus on the client, to see what's happening. So it will help and work for you as a clinician, and you would probably see that it will help you get most out of your EMDR session, and that the SUT drops really efficient with this system. Okay, so let's pause it. So I was making some faults, some errors here. I was pressing late. So the ball speed, it started at 25%. It went up until 34 without me doing anything as a therapist. So the algorithm did that, and this will go up and up until the point that it's almost too much. Then we're gonna make errors, and then it will slow down a bit. And it's hovering around a certain sweet spot that's making treatment as optimal as it can. As I would say, it will make desensitization as optimal as it can based on personal information. This slider correlates with this ball speed slider, and if I'm pressing the start task and my client will respond, I can watch this visual task flickering, so blue, red, yellow, green and gray, and based on what my client does, it will slow down, and it will indicate why it slows down, because red means there's no click detected because I'm not doing anything. So now the program will slow down, and I would see that. So those indicators here, the flashing colors, mean a lot for you as a clinician. It tells you how well your client is doing. It can be an indicator if maybe a person is dissociating. It can be an indication that some person is getting emotional, or in the beginning of a session that they don't understand the different tasks. So please watch this flickering. It gives you a lot of information. We also have that explained here in the tips part, besides the notes. So the tips part is a tips document my colleague prepared with explanation on the working memory, task, using exposure, but also what to do when seeing red and what to do when seeing blue. So read that as a clinician as well. If I add not only the visual but also the audio, I go to the audio, I toggle it on, Let's make sure I have my volume on. So now I have the visual task on and the audio task. And now there will be a ball moving into my screen, but also an audio tone. So what I do when I see the visual, the ball, change it from a ball into a cylinder, press the arrow key down. Every time I hear the audio tone, I press the space bar. So I'm doing right hand visual, left hand space bar. On iPad or computer or iPad on phone, you use the touchscreen buttons on your screen. So on computer, it's the arrow key down for the visual, it's the space bar for the audio tone. On iPad, touchscreen on the right side, touchscreen on the left side, there's buttons. You will figure that out. So I have the audio on, visual on, and I'm gonna play it. So I hear the audio tone, I press the space bar. I see the ball changing to the cylinder, I press the arrow key. So let's do this for a minute and you would see that the ball goes faster and faster. And it becomes more difficult for me to handle. So now I'm doing this without, of course, an image or a memory in my head, but normally in a session the client is thinking of a certain situation. That makes it even harder. So I'll pause it here. So the ball speed is now at 42. So it went up again. So this will go up and down based on my performance, and as a clinician I can measure here. We really like the adaptive AI part. We get a lot of feedback that the SUT drops really efficient. Out of one of the latest studies here in Europe, we show that it's much more efficient than the light bar. So if you would compare it, you would probably see that the SUT drops fast, but we would love to get your feedback on that. So please try this out in your own session to see the benefits of the AI. And last but not least, with the distraction sound, is the third task, active task, that you can toggle on and off as well, where we let there be a clicking sound for the client. So there's an audio tone, the audio tone where you have to react on with the spacebar, but there's also a clicking sound that's distracting the client. The client doesn't have to respond on it, but it's just distracting them. So we have the visual task, we have the audio task, and we have the distracting clicking sound. So I will toggle that on or off. It's constant or random, let's say random. And now I'm pausing my task again. Makes it even harder. You get the idea. Okay, to wrap it up with the distraction, the audio and the visual, we forgot one thing about the visual. That could be a fourth task in our system. So you could do the ball color, or the ball changing from a ball into a cylinder. You could do the audio sound and you could do the audio clicks. But you can add a fourth. That's the random ball color changing. And what you can do, you can ask your client to also tell you the color of the ball. So there will be red, blue, green. So you're doing all those tasks combined to get a really high level of working memory taxation or dual attention stimulation to get most out of your session. So let's try that as well. So it's green, gray, purple, pink. This is too hard for me as a client, but you would see that there are some clients with a really high working memory capacity that needs this. So play around with it. We have two options. One is with more straightforward colors, red, blue, green, and one with harder colors like between blue and gray, and there's fancy names for that. So that's really hard because you don't know exactly sometimes what the color is. So play around with it. We love it, but it's up to you as a clinician to use this. So those are all the active tasks that you can use in our WeMind system. Okay, today we're going to explain how to use the exposure function in our WeMind system. So we have a settings here, exposure, that combines exposure with EMDR. So not only you can change the background for your client, as we do right now, you can also project any photo, video, or audio file to your client and help them with using exposure in your session. So how does it work? Let's say we go to exposure. We want to upload a photo, video, or audio file from our computer that's locally stored on our computer. I press this upload button. There will be a pop-up coming up with a lot of the files I have on my computer, I select one and I can stream it to the client. It works exactly the same, but we can also use our moved library. So we have the moved media library with a preset of hundreds of different photos and videos. You can search by name, or you can categorize by, let's say we want to start with something relaxing. So we press the relaxing video. I, as a clinician, can preview it here in small, so it's a really relaxing slope somewhere in Austria, as I know, where the sun comes over the mountain. It's relaxing. It takes 3 minutes, as you can see. It's playing, but my client is not seeing anything because the stream to client is off. So let's pause it here. Once again, I can preview it here, preview. If I want to share this with my client, I press stream to client and I say yes. So now I say yes, I see a media paused pop up here. So this is like a TV screen with this video playing here. But now it's paused because I paused it. So let's say I want to make it a bit bigger. Let's say I want to start here and I want to play this video. So I play it, the media is on, so now it's playing. Now I can switch over to my client side and I would see that this video is playing. It's a bit static, this video, not much happening, but you get the idea. Let's pause it. Media's paused. I can even make it a bit bigger or make it almost full screen. So let's play it again. And now I see this full screen. So as a clinician, you can upload any type of video or photo yourself and use that also as a background. So if you want to use a specific background to make it really personal, you can do that as well. Perfect. Let's make it a bit smaller. Oh, let's make it bigger. Let's say I want to use this as a background. So I use it as a background and now I want to do the EMDR work. So I press start task and the ball will go over this image, as you see. So now you've changed the background to make it full screen and to make it really workable for you. Yeah, so this is basically how you use exposure in EMDR. It can be a photo, it can be a video. We support a lot of different types of photos and videos. If you have any problem with uploading one, let us know. And for using exposure in our WeMind system, you need the performance package. So if you have no exposure visible here, that means that you did not subscribe to the exposure package. You can upgrade, so let us know and we can open the exposure feature for you as well.